What's going on YouTube? It's Giga here, bringing you some more series or Regulation B battles with live commentary. Today we are playing in a tournament called the Terrastone Thursdays. This was just a cool tournament that I saw. I happened to be free, and I thought it'd be really fun to try out some cool stuff, especially now that I'm basically done with Regulation B. I wanted to try out some really cool teams that have done well before. And today we are using one of those very cool teams. This is a team built by Santino. For those of you who don't know who he is the Players Cup 1 as well as the Players Cup Invitational Champion. Overall, an incredible battler and just person overall, and really my pick to win Worlds eventually. And so this is a cool team he built. I can't say this year because he likes Dondozo, but you know, we're gonna give it a shot. So like I said, this is a Dondozo team. It's a really cool one, and so just talking a little bit about the team itself, right? First of all, we have Dondozo. So this is an interesting option of going with Lumberry, right? A lot of Dondozos go for those leftovers for that constant recovery, but Santino making the choice to go with Lumberry here, which I think is really cool. It gives you the ability to rest and get a ton of HP and then wake up, which definitely has its place in a lot of matches. Other than that, the interesting thing worth noting, right, is you don't have Order Up, you have Wave Crash and Earthquake. So shifting a little bit away from sort of the standard, I think it's been pretty fine so far. And it, like, the thing is, this team has Glamora on it. And so once you get Glamora set up, you don't necessarily need to constantly be fishing for KOs. Sometimes it's fine just to be resting and chilling and using Toxic to get those knockouts and using your defensive capability. So next up, we do have Tatsugiri. Tatsugiri has the Choice Scarf. Really nothing to say here, right? It does have Dragon Pulse over some other filler moves, so I think that's a really nice adaptation, just giving you some solid flexibility with it. And yeah, it's Tatsugiri. It jumps in the mouth. It does what it needs to do. Next up is Glamora. So this is really cool. It is an Assault Vest set. So Glamora has this really cool signature ability called Toxic Debris. Basically, when you are hit with a physical attack, you will set up a layer of toxic spikes, either 1 or 2, depending on how many have been set up. And also you have this move called Mortal Spin. So Mortal Spin is awesome in the fact that it doesn't do a lot of damage, but it hits both targets and poisons them. So, right, like you have a Dondozo, which is trying to play this long drawn out game, and now you have this Glamora, which really can help set up the Dondozo. So an awesome sort of tech there. You are Terra Grass to help deal with some of your weaknesses. And then you just have Sludge Bomb for mainly things like Flutter Mane. Power Gem, really helpful against Iron Bundle, and then Earth Power, just as a solid sort of option overall. Next up is Mousehold. Mousehold is great. It offers Friend Guard, right? It has access to really great support moves in Super Fang, Follow Me, Feint, and Protect. So Feint's really cool because it's not going to be doing a lot of damage. So you can trigger your own Glamora using it in situations where you just want to set up those toxic spikes and you're worried about your opponent playing something more defensive. Also, obviously, right, you can break through their protects and get some big damage that way. So a really solid choice of the team. Next up is Goldengo. So this is a leftover set, which is why the Lumberry's on Dondozo. So just a really sort of bulky guy. In terms of the moves, it's pretty standard. You are Terra Steel. I made the mistake earlier today of thinking it was Terra Water. It is not. Don't make the same mistake I did. And finally, we have Roaring Moon. So Roaring Moon here, booster energy, speed boosting, Terra Flying. What's interesting of note is the fact that you have Earthquake over either something like Jaw Lock or Throat Chop. So really kind of breaking away from the norm of standard, of standard Roaring Moons. I think it's a really cool tech there. It gives you a lot of options, right? You have a lot of protect on things. And so it also, I think, triggers Glamora if you're Terra Grass, just, you know, something nice to see. But overall, it's really fun. I've had fun with the team so far. We are 2-1. And yeah, definitely make sure to check out Santino. And with that, let's just get rocking and rolling and move into the first game. All right, hopping right into things, and we are playing against Will, or what is their name online? It is like CX Bane. And so their team is pretty interesting, right? It is Roaring Moon, Arcanine, Goldengo with a Murkrow, a Flutter Mane, and Great Tusk. So worth noting is the Great Tusk is Assault Vest. And so in that regard, I'm really fine just to lead with with the Glamora, right? Like we are, I think, in just a really solid spot overall. I think that Mousehold with the Glamora is totally fine, and then we can afford to bring Dondozo Tatsugiri in the back. I think if we can just start poisoning things, we're kind of fine, right? We do have to be a little bit weary of Goldengo, right? Goldengo obviously immune to toxic, but right, we have enough ways of dealing with it. The problem is it's Terra Ghost, but we are immune to sort of the things it can go for. And so if we can basically burn that, I mean, not burn, toxic the Arcanine, right? Like, sure, you can keep switching in, but you're going to take a lot of damage. And so I think that this is really our best sort of bet. Important note too, on their Murkrow, they don't have Haze. They have Foul Play, Sunny Day, Quash, and Tailwind. So this is a little bit of a sort of different set. I am very interested though to see what they go for. I think we just kind of want to play aggressive with the Glimmora, right? The only thing that's really threatening it right off the bat is that Great Tusk. We also do have access to things like Earth Power, so we could potentially even go for a side feint into an Earth Power into the Goldengo. That way we set up our layer of Toxic Spikes if they go for Goldengo on lead. Flutter Mane, right, we're not super worried about it. We have access to that Sludge Bomb. Also, if you are Terra-ing, right, that means that we can hit you with other things, as we are going to see Arcanine. Okay, Arcanine coming out with the Murkrow, and so this is totally fine with me, right? Because of the fact that I'm not super worried about any of these Pokemon. And so what does the Arcanine have? The Arcanine does have Snarl. I'm fine to go for a Super Fang here. Actually, no, I want to set up Toxic Spikes. I think that that's more important. So I'm fine to go for a feint into the Glimmora, as well as go for Earth Power. I'm going to go for a Power Gem. No, I'm going to go for an Earth Power. This way, right, if you, okay, you're going to not even switch out, but this, right, means that we get to set up our Toxic Spikes, which is huge. We also do want to try and focus down on that Murkrow, right? We don't really want it to be able to fire off big foul plays onto us, right? That's definitely something to be wary of, as we are going to see the Flare Blitz coming straight out onto the Mousehold, right? We critically survive and pretty comfortably at that. And so now I'm sure that this Earth Power should be enough to pick up. It's not quite enough to pick up the knockout. I want to go for a Protect here, and then I'm going to go for a Power Gem onto this Murkrow, right? Just trying to deal as much damage as possible. We can then go for things like a Follow Me. We could even go for like a Follow Me into a Mortal Spin, depending on how much the Murkrow lives on. I just really want to create a scenario, right, where we are doing work with our Goldengo, with our Glimmora, as we are going to see the switch into Great Tusk. And so Great Tusk is fine with me, right? You are going to get Toxic. You do have that Assault Vest, which is something to be a little bit wary of, but it's not necessarily the end of the world. And more importantly, right, it means that you aren't going for damage onto the Glimmora, as we are going to see the Sunny Day. Totally fine with me, right? We can fire off a really big hit onto this Great Tusk, as we are going to see its attack unfortunately going to get heightened. Power Gem going to come out here, right? Let's see how much it does into the Murkrow. Not quite enough for the knockout. And now we have to make a choice, right? Do we go for actually wait, I'm going to go for the feint into the Murkrow, and then I'm fine to stay in. Earth Power is 90. I'm going to go for the Special Defense drop potential and just try and do some damage here, right? Like if you go for an Earthquake, that's fine. I want to just try and preserve my Terra type. Also, right, Arcanine in the back, we're not super worried because it will get poisoned, and so we can play a little bit of a slower game. We do have to worry about something like a Goldengo, but we can sort of trade sleeping and getting small incremental chip. And so we are going to see the feint coming out here, going onto the Murkrow, doing no damage at all. This really isn't sort of a damage dealer, as Glimmora going to survive here, getting up that second layer of Toxic Spikes, pretty crucial for something like Arcanine in the back. And we are going to see the Earthquake come out here. It's not going to do much into our Glimmora. Unfortunately, though, the Mousehold is, I mean, not the Mousehold, the Murkrow is going to survive here. Let's just see how much we are going to do with that Earth Power. Doing decent amount. I'm not going to complain about that damage, but what I do want to do this turn is I do want to bring out Dondozo. I'm going to bring out Dondozo here, right? I can go for a Protect and try and get rid of this Murkrow. So I'm going to go for a Protect right off the bat, as well as go for, let's Power Gem into the Murkrow, right? Like your Great Tusk is pretty low at this point. We're also going to be taking neutral from all of your hits. So that's really helpful for us. The big question though is, can we survive, what's it called? Can we survive a close combat from the Great Tusk, right? You could switch into Arcanine, which would actually be ideal, as we are going to see the Terra most likely going to be the ground on the Great Tusk. And at this point, right, I can afford to play it slow, right? I can go for things like a rest every turn if I need to, because of the fact that we do have the defense boost. Yes, we are playing the game of like, when am I going to get crit? But it's not necessarily the end of the world. We are going to see the Great Tusk, right, going for that Terra as the foul play. Perfect. I'm assuming you close combat into the Glamora, which is, you could Earthquake as well. Okay, perfect. That's actually huge for us, right? Because now what it means is your Arcanine is going to get poisoned, and we're going to get rid of Murkrow, which in my mind is the scariest thing on my opponent's team. At this point, I feel really good, right? I can switch out into my Tatsugiri. I can continually protect and stall, especially with all that poison building up. And so, yeah, if you want to go for something that's totally fine. Also, right, the Tailwind is gone, which means I will be faster than something like, what's it called? I will be faster than the Great Tusk after we get the Tatsugiri boost, because this is, I think, a pretty fast Dozo. It is 212 speed, so yeah, we are super fast right now. I'm fine to go for the Earthquake. I'm gonna go for the Earthquake, and I'm gonna switch into Tatsugiri, right? Because we should be able to take any hit. Even if you want to go for something like the Burn, that's totally fine with me, because of the fact like we have rest. Even if I'm at -1 or +1 instead of +2, we should just be doing a solid amount of damage across the board. We do have the ability, right, at this point, just to Toxic Stall whatever's in the back. It is a little bit tricky though, right? Because of the fact that we don't have Protect on Giri or Glamora. So that's going to be fine here. We are going to fire off the Earthquake. Let's see how much it does. It should KO the Great Tusk. It doesn't actually KO the Great Tusk, which is a little unfortunate, for lack of better words, as we are going to have to get hit with a Headlong Rush. This is going to be in the sun. We are luckily at +2. Perfect. And right now, at this point, we can go for a Protect, and whatever's in the back, right, we should be fine for dealing with it, right? We do have the ability just to either Protect Stall or do what we got to do, right? That Great Tusk is about to get hit for sure. As we will see, it is going to be the Roaring Moon. So Roaring Moon, totally fine, right? You are going to get Toxic. We do have access to, what's it called? We do have access to Dragon Pulse on our thing, as well as just sort of great damage with Glamora. So no reason to necessarily like waste a situation. Just go for the Protect here. And so, yeah, they are going to cancel that. So I feel really good about game one, right? I think the Toxic overall, just a really solid answer into my opponent's team. And so now I think we run it back, right? I think all of the Pokemon really played a pretty pivotal role. Battle again with the same rules. If we can if we can Toxic even the Great Tusk right off the bat, I think that's totally legit, right? We might have to, yeah, I think we run it back. I think that this really sort of is our best bet. Yeah, I don't even know really what adjustment you make here. I think you can bring the Glamora. I mean, not the Glamora. You can bring the Goldengo, but I don't necessarily know how much it helps out here. I could bring my own Goldengo if I'm super worried about that. I forget what they led with. They led Arcanine with Murkrow. I think it's fine, right? Like Goldengo, I'm not super worried about because of the fact that I can recover, and especially if I go for something like a Terra Steel, we're totally fine there. But I think that this is really our best bet, right? We can proc our own thing if we need to. We can Terra if we want to, which I think puts on a ton of pressure. We can go for stuff like a Protect with the mouse to ensure. And then if they, yeah, we have a lot of options, right? Like we can even potentially like Terra the mouse. I don't think we need to, right? We probably want to save the Terra for Glamora. But I think that this really gives us the best bet on dealing with things. And, oh, interestingly enough, their Arcanine doesn't have Protect either. So not actually a lot of Protects on this team. The only ones I'm seeing are Goldengo and Fluttermane. Oh, and Roaring Moon. Okay, that's fine. I think maybe what you can do is you can I'm trying to think what you could lead Murkrow with Murkrow Great Tusk isn't necessarily a horrible option. Okay, we are going to indeed see the Murkrow Great Tusk. I want to go for a Mortal Spin here. Let's go for, nope, yeah, Terra. Go for the Mortal Spin, and I'm going to go for the Super Fang onto the Great Tusk. Yeah, I don't see you. I mean, if you go for like a close combat, that is definitely an option, right? You could close combat into the mouse, trying to get rid of it. That gives me a really free switch in into Dondozo. And as long as I can set up the spikes, right, like I'm kind of fine to let that happen, right? Because we can afford to play a much slower game. So I think my opponent definitely correctly identifying a scary lead for me. I could have probably led Dondozo. Wouldn't be the end of the world. So we are going to see ourselves Terraing, which means that they did not, which is good news for us. We can probably take whatever hit they're going for. I do, like I said, have to be a little bit weary of if they go for something like a close combat into the, what's it called? A close combat into the mouse hold. I don't know if we take that. I hope we do. We are going to indeed see that close combat coming out here. So unfortunately not EV to live it. But we will luckily be able to, what's it called, fire off a big sort of Mortal Spin onto both of these Pokemon, really trying to set up our Toxic. And so we can immediately get some damage. We can, let's figure out what we want to do here. So I think my opponent, yeah, very correctly identified what they wanted to do. I think we should have just gone for a Protect. It would have put us in a much better spot. But that's fine, right? We are going to get that HP going, as I can bring out Dondozo here. And we can sort of just start doing the thing that we need to do. As, right, we will have that Toxic damage. I'm going to go for a Sludge Bomb onto... Nope, I'm not going to go for a Sludge Bomb. I'm not going to go for a Power Gem either. I'm going to go for an Earth Power onto the Great Tusk, as well as go for a Protect here. We should have... My main issue, right, is I probably should have Power Gemmed into the Murkrow, right? Yeah, I should have gone for the Power Gem into the Murkrow. That would have gotten rid of it to prevent something like the Foul Play that's incoming. We're going to see the Ice Spinner actually going into the Glamora, so we do critically survive it. And so that's actually really huge, right? We do get to set up our first layer of Toxic Spikes. We are going to fire off a really big Earth Power onto this Great Tusk. Not enough for the knockout, but we will take what damage we can get, as the Murkrow is going to take a little bit of chip from the poison. I think we have to switch out into our Tatsugiri here, and unfortunately we do have to go for a Wave Crash onto this Murkrow. It's not ideal, right? Like, I obviously don't want to do that, but I think we don't really have another choice. We could have risked switching Tatsugiri, but I think it's fine. We will have to unfortunately take a Foul Play, which is probably going to do a solid chunk and a half. Yeah, so let's see what happens here. I think, what is our question? How do we adjust for Great Tusk with Murkrow? I don't really know if we have a good answer. Like, we could just lead Dondozo. We could lead Tatsugiri, in all honesty, but that's a little bit risky, right? I don't want to necessarily risk losing. What I could do, right, is I could go Mouse Tatsugiri. That's an option. I could go Mouse Giri. They Foul Play into the wrong slot and go for an Ice Spinner. So this is huge. This is actually really huge for me, because now I can fire off a big Wave Crash onto this Murkrow. The big question in my mind is, okay, I don't think Murkrow will... Okay, let's protect this turn. I think we protect and then we rest, right? Just to create a new scenario where the two things that are going to come in are going to have to take a lot of damage. If it's Arcanine, we're going to see the Murkrow actually withdraw. So I'm believing that this is Arcanine in the back. Survey says it is actually indeed the Arcanine in the back. We will get some nice poison onto the Arcanine. So I'm totally fine with this, right? Like, sure, I'm gonna go to -1, but like I don't need to attack at this point. That's the thing, right? I just need to survive. As we will see, the headlong rush come out pretty critically. My opponent has not used their Terra, but like I said, I don't care at this point. My goal is to sit on the field for as long as I can. And so I'm okay, the Tailwind is gone, which is good because that means I can go for an Earthquake. Even if I get burned here, right, we do have access to that Lumberry, so that's going to really come in clutch for us. As we will see the Terra, I'm assuming it's going to be Terra Grass on the Arcanine, which is totally fine, right? If you get the burn, it's no big deal. I just need to force out whatever you have in the back. If it's Goldengo, right, we are forced to play this game of getting chip on the Goldengo, playing it slow, but like it's not a big deal. Let's get that damage. We get rid of the Great Tusk. If it's going to be that what's it called, that Murkrow, right, we want to just protect in front of it. The Will-O-Wisp is like, yeah, we're gonna see the Will-O-Wisp. It's not the end of the world, right? We do have what's it called, we have that Lumberry, and I think we're actually sitting really pretty here, right? I can really just try and play a super slow game, right? Your Arcanine already getting kind of low, and we still have 2 Pokemon in the back. I'm assuming you had to bring Goldengo here. We are going to see the Murkrow, so an interesting choice for sure here. I'm just going to go for the Protect, right? There's no reason for me to really try and do anything else. This Arcanine isn't really intimidating me. Intimidating, get it? It is a little bit scary for sure. We are going to see the Tailwind come out. I'm assuming this is going to be a Will-O-Wisp. Yeah, we are going to see the Will-O-Wisp. The Will-O-Wisp is totally fine. If we KO the Murkrow here, I think we are we're in just like really great shape, right? Arcanine going to take a little bit more damage there. Murkrow, please go down. Murkrow living on 1 is not necessarily the best here. I'm just going to go for an Earthquake, just trying to get a little bit more chip damage, saying, hey, if you like the foul play, okay, the foul play means you're only at +1. The Will-O-Wisp, like I said, is totally fine. Let's see how much this foul play does. We do have +2 defense. Okay, perfect, huge. That's like totally fine, right? We are going to just get chip onto this Arcanine. And if it's Goldengo in the back, we can just play the game of Protect, sleep until we are fine. We do have to be just a little bit weary, right, of the fact that Goldengo does have the ability to kind of, you know, it has the ability to be scary. And so I think we're still chilling here, right? Like, because we can Protect regardless of whatever comes out. We might want to just rest, depending on what it is. If it's Goldengo, right, we rest up. What's nice, right, is we are only at we still are at +1, as it is going to actually just be that Roaring Moon, as we did go for the Earthquake last turn. I'm feeling really good, right? You will go down to a hit from me, so I'm just gonna, what is the booster energy here? I think it's attack. Yeah, it is attack here. And so I can click the Protect button, and I think at this point, right, we just stall it out. We are playing a little bit of a crits game, but it's not the end of the world, right? This isn't the most interesting thing to watch. I should have realized that. I was like, oh, let's play Dondozo. But here we are. So we're just gonna Protect, and we're gonna just rest until like the end of time. We're gonna get hit by an E-Speed, probably an Acrobatics coming our way as well. The game, right, isn't over because of crits. But I think even if you crit, I should survive. We are going to see the Roaring Moon just slowly starting to get whittled away by that poison. I think I want to rest here. Yeah, I want to go for the rest here. Do I Earthquake or do I rest? I think I Earthquake, right? I want to get a little bit of chip. We are going to have to take the E-Speed. I think this turn will really come down to... Oh, you're faster. 71. We should be able to survive that. Get the extra chip damage. This means, okay, perfect, right? You are going to take poison damage. The Arcanine should go down the next turn after we protect. So we can, oh, you just go down this turn. Okay. And with that, right, we can go for a rest, and then we just kind of keep clicking rest. It's not necessarily the most elegant win con. Oh, because you had a Tailwind, yeah. So I'm just going to click rest, and I'm just going to do that until you die. So Moment of Truth, Throat Chop, we live on 5. We just rest, and at this point, right, like the game is over. So yeah, definitely make sure to check out Santino. I like have never really played with Dondozo before. I just like thought it would be fun to give it a shot. This is a really fun archetype with it, right? You set up that toxic Glamora, really sort of putting in work. And we're fine just to click whatever we want, right? Like even if my opponent gets super lucky, there's really nothing that they can do. So overall, I think some fun battles. I had fun. I know it's a little bit boring to watch Dozo, but I hope people enjoyed. But that's all I got. And until next time, I hope all of you are wonderful, and I'll see you then.